Ohio Governor John Kasich has said he is generally in favor of trade as long as there's a way to make sure workers in the United States are not being cheated. We're pleased to welcome Governor Kasich to Studio 57 again. Welcome.
Always great to be with you guys.
Great to have you here,
This
Governor.
is really good.
Well, we thank you for that. Let's first talk trade. As a governor, you've supported trade, as I said, as long as workers are protected. Do you support this bill?
I think so, Charlie. I mean, I haven't seen all the details. The Senate's going to look at it. But look, we want to have a strengthened group of people in Asia to interface against the Chinese. And trade can help do that. My concern about trade is when countries dump material into our country, we wait for a year, 2 years before we get a resolution as to whether they cheated or not. So by the time we find out they dumped, people are out of work. I think we need an expedited process for somebody to stick up for the American worker. So free trade, but no looking the other way, no bureaucratic slowdown.
But you're inclined to support this
bill.
bill.
Yeah, because I think it's good for U.S., not only in terms of economics, but also in terms of foreign policy. Trade can make a difference in strengthening us around the world.
Okay. Let's talk about the 2016 presidential race. You have taken a risk within your party, differing on a number of issues, whether it's immigration, on gay marriage, even on Obamacare. Do you think the party's platform needs to evolve on those issues?
Well, first of all, I'm not for Obamacare. I don't favor it, and I have a plan to replace Obamacare. I'm not just against it. I have a program that drives us towards quality health care rather than quantity health care. It would take some time to explain, but it's actually a legitimate alternative to keep prices down and make sure people have access. On gay marriage, look, I believe in traditional marriage, but the court has ruled. And when the court rules, you know,
does your party need to evolve on that issue?
Well, I don't know if they don't have my position. They don't say much about it, but that's my position. And then the first one you raised was
immigration.
Oh, well, look.
You don't believe in a wall, yeah.
Well, I believe in a wall, but what I believe is we should have a guest worker program, and the people who are here who have abided by the law should be able to have a path to legalization. It is not practical to think we're going to go take 10, 11, 12 million people, and what are we going to do? How are we going to get them? Are we going to ship them to the border and yell, get out of our country? It's not practical. And by the way, these folks who are here, many of them are creating a wonderful, stronger America. So I think this can pass. I actually think this can pass. See, in this campaign, we should stop talking about pie in the sky and start talking about real solutions. I've been a reformer my entire lifetime, but I know how to land a plane and get it done.
But the question is, has your party moved to the right so far that as a conservative, a longtime conservative, it's too far right for you and you're too far center for them?
Well, I think I have a right to define what the party is, Charlie. I mean, look, we've risen. I was up in second place in New Hampshire. We've come down, but these polls are very volatile. We've got the best organization in New Hampshire. We're building out in Iowa and South Carolina. Look, if I win, I have a right to define what the party is, and along the way, I'm defining what it is. And you know what it is? It's a party of economic growth, and economic growth, not an end unto itself, but also can help people who live in the shadows, the mentally ill, the drug addicted. But I'll tell you who else. Those people who were in their 50s who faced job loss because their company left America or their company shut down. They have become depressed, alienated, lonely. These are people that have to get some opportunity to be trained so they can get work and support their family. I think this is a conservative message.
But let's talk about the poll numbers for just a second. Even in your own state, you're down. Donald Trump is beating in your own state. People say you are one of the most experienced, one of the most qualified. What do you need to do you think, to break through? What's your strategy? And is it frustrating for you, Governor?
Well, first of all, my approval rating is well over 60% in Ohio. I mean, I got like very little negative and very high positive. And nationally, my positive ratings are very high as opposed to my negatives. I have a big ceiling because people don't know me yet. Look, you're all experienced. You know that places like Ohio or like Iowa and New Hampshire are launching pads. If I do well in New Hampshire, you're going to have me back every day. So, you know? so that's what we do. Look, here's what I wanted to say. You can build a campaign where you rise real fast, but you have no underpinnings. Yeah. We've sort of seen this with one candidate who led and dropped out. We're building the base to be able to be sustaining victory.
Let's get you on foreign policy here. The big headline today, of course, in Syria and what Russia is doing. There are reports that Moscow is deliberately targeting U.S.-backed rebel groups.
I'm
what
sure
would you
they are now.
You're sure
I
they
mean,
are.
we're reading the press reports that they are. Look,
what would you do to stop President Putin from doing that?
First of all, I called for a no-fly zone, a week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, a sanctuary for people. And anybody violates that no-fly zone, I don't have red lines that I don't stand by. You come into that no-fly zone, you will suffer the consequences.
You would shoot down a Russian airplane.
I said that if anybody violates the no-fly zone, there will be severe consequences, and I don't believe in painting a red line and removing
But
it.
what is a severe consequence?
You
You're
know
gonna
what
shoot
it
down a
is.
warplane?
You know what? When you're when you're going to be commander-in-chief, you got to be steady and you got to be calm. I served on the Defense Committee for 18 years. Okay. Just everybody would understand what I'm saying without having to use fiery rhetoric to get a headline. Okay, don't violate the no-fly zone. Secondly, we should have been supporting those rebels, and we must continue to support the opposition to Assad because it's an Iran-Assad-Russian deal. The Russians are there. They're there because there was a void. But on top of it, in the long haul, Russia doesn't have the influence there that they are seeking in the Middle East. We have to reassert ourselves in many different ways in establishing a no-fly zone, helping the rebels, training people, creating a relationship with the Kurds and with the Sunni. We can make a big difference there and send multiple messages about the strength of the United States, reasserting our leadership.
Governor, we've got to leave it there, but who are you picking for your running mate?
Are you available? You are looking.
I'm very busy.
You're smart. You look great. You're articulate.
Thank you.
What'd you think about it?
I will give it some thought.
Okay.
Oh, you'd have to get married first.
Oh, no. We'll take her. We'll take her as she is.
That would be a winning ticket.
We got to go.
Gail is
Governor
very
John
personable,
Kasich,
and
we thank you.
And very smart.
We thank you very
Kasich
much.
King
I am
for
a people person.
2016.